Hello, welcome back to my channel. So we talked about the service plan before, and now I want to talk to you about your clients working the service plan. The first advice is to start early and document. Document everything. You want to make sure that if there's an issue that's brought up a year later, you've got it documented. So encourage your client to start their services right away. You as the attorney, stay in touch with your client. Sometimes the client's not good at staying in touch with you. I know that happens a lot, but you need to make your efforts and you need to document for your purposes. Also, you can reach out to the caseworker. Stay in touch with the caseworker so you know what's going on. I had mentioned in the video about developing the service plan that sometimes when you get to trial, the department will try to argue that your client just checked the boxes and didn't actually engage in the services. Well, when you talk to the caseworker and when you have the permanency hearings, you need to talk to them about that and see if that's what they're thinking. And if so, why? How do they see that? And what is it your client can do to show them that they're actually engaging? Sometimes they can't give you an answer to that, but that's the thing you need to be prepared for. And then then you can argue towards the end, look, we've been asking you all this time what you need to see from the client, and you kept telling us that you couldn't say. And that's something they'll have to explain at the final trial. Now, a lot of the services that are done have a certificate or a report done at the end. Make sure you get those. Make sure your client gets them, and make sure the caseworker gets them. This is part of you tracking how much your client has done. You can't rely just on what your client tells you. As we all know, clients are not always honest with their attorneys. You need to verify. You need to follow up with them and get copies of those. CPS is supposed to get copies of those from the providers. Make sure CPS provides them to you. Tell your client to provide you copies. Get your client to allow you to talk to the provider so you can reach out to the provider if there's an issue or a concern. I used to tell my clients that everybody says being a parent is the hardest job in the world, and it certainly is a difficult one. And yet there's no training for it. Most of these services, or some of these services at least, will help with that, and they're free. Take advantage of them. Engage in them. Even if you don't feel like you need them, it's what the court is going to require for you to get the children back. So they need to have the right attitude and they need to engage. And you need to help them make sure that there aren't obstacles to them engaging and to completing. Because that will run up. And after a while, it gets very deflating for the client. It's like, why bother? Every time I go, they switch caseworkers on me. They switch providers, whatever it is. You need to document it. You need to try to address it with them. They ask for more services if it's needed. If the department is saying that they're not seeing enough progress for whatever reason, then what do they need to see? What kind of services would get them there? Make them answer those questions and get the court to order them to provide those services as well. And ask for help if needed. If they're having trouble getting to their services, if they have a transportation issue, maybe CPS can't do anything about that. But document that you've asked. Document that they have asked. That show that they've tried. That will help you down the road. And don't wait. Time is of the essence. Because these cases can last a year or longer, it's real easy to think you've got time, but it all happens so fast, it sneaks up on people, and then it's 6 months in and they haven't started their services. And that'll cause a lot of problems. If nothing else, it undermines all your arguments, at least a little bit later on, when you're saying, well, they didn't have time to finish their services. Well, they didn't start for 6 months, so that's on them. Now, it may not be on them, but if you haven't followed up to find out and document, how are you going to argue against that? So keep those things in mind when you're advising your clients about the service plan, and make sure to keep them encouraged as much as you can. Thank you again for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.